So I decided to remake the last video just because appearances. It bothers me that that actually matters, but then again, I'm autistic. I'm very functional in the things that I do. So here's why Black Lives Matter. When I was down in Southside Chicago, I went back to the Kojic church. I've been Kojic since I was 14, full gospel Pentecostal. In fact, I've been behind many Kojic churches, pulpits. And I got into an apartment, a loft, that the owner renovated in Southside Chicago on good faith. He just said, don't let me down. And after 2 months, I found a job and started, paying him back. And I was commuting 4 hours one way to work. Not joking. But that was Southside Chicago. My first 2 days, the gas company couldn't get out, so I spent the first 2 days in negative 18 degrees, keeping warm in a loft. That was fun. But nah, it legit happened. 16 years old. I just got my license. I've got a beautiful girlfriend. I'm about to go get a latte, right? Because I can. I'm 16. I got a little thing going on. Oh, my coffee's done. Yeah, I'm making coffee in the middle of a sunny day. Love it. But yeah, we're going to get a latte at Perk Up Espresso on Pacific Avenue, just outside Spanaway going into Parkland. And that's Washington State. So I take the turn a little bit fast, hitting the brakes a little bit too hard. And then I hear the squealing behind me. And then an officer turns on all his lights. Like, I look in my rearview mirrors. I always have. And he did not have his lights on. Then he kicks on all of them, and he walks up to the door, tries to open the door. But Grams taught me when I was young, always lock the door. So he tries to open it, like no knock knock or nothing like that. I'm naturally, fearful. So I crack the window, give him my, try to push my license and all that out there. He grabs it, registration and, no, license and insurance is what I had. And he grabs that, and then he says, get out of the car, I'm going to arrest you. So I get out of the car, he cuffs me. I'm just thinking, wow, this guy's had a bad day. Because, that stuff doesn't happen. But he cuffs me and tries to sit me in the only puddle in this huge parking lot. And, I was surprised. And he hits me with 3 different tickets, maybe 4, but I think it was 3. And as he leaves, he says, you better watch the company you keep. And I'm just sitting there in my car like, what just happened? I'm 16, I don't know nothing. And then I'm saying, what he just said. Like, he said, you better watch the company you keep. What does that? And as I look to her, it sinks in. I had a beautiful black girlfriend. Not everybody approved of that. So, my first mentor is Dr. Eugene Satterwhite. He still calls me son. I still call him my spiritual father. I met him when I was 14, practically begged him to be, I played it really diplomatically when I asked him to be my mentor because I really wanted access to his book collection. You have no idea. Let me tell you something. But a young man I call nephew, in the past year and a half, found out what the color of his skin means. In Arizona, I was driving with a limo driver, like professional limo driver. And he was also my wingman at the time, back when I was young and dumb and reckless. And 2 times an officer pulled us over. 2 different officers on 2 different nights, about a few weeks apart. And both times the officer comes up with an attitude. They have their hand on one of their guns, the other one a flashlight, and asking for, license and registration. He already has it out because he knows. And then the officer lifts the light to me, and their demeanor changes entirely. The guy and my buddy gets off with a warning, both times. I've lived in a food desert in Southside Chicago. It was Chicago Heights, Illinois, just outside Harvey, Illinois. I have seen, I'm guilty of the same thing that a lot of people are pushing. Like, I just watched this Republican speak along or whatever it was. And as somebody who has a degree in marketing and a background in marketing, they are throwing a lot of spin and reach. Their perspective is one to ignore, and we can't keep ignoring. Ever since the War for Independence, Americans have fought in every war. And they have died in every war. And yet we have the Tuskegee experiment. Oh, that didn't happen. It took us, 80 years to admit it? 70? 80? Maybe 60. Let's play it safe. I mean, that was World War I, right? Tell me if I'm wrong here. It could have been World War II, but that was just the Tuskegee Airmen, the flying aces of that war. And then we learn about all these inventors like Edison, who basically stole Tesla from us. Tesla was one of ours, Autistic. Long story short, we've been ignoring problems that we all know are there. What is it? Jane Elliott? She was a school teacher and did a few experiments. And one of them, she asked, okay, if you think black people have it that easy, raise your hands, how many of you want to be black in America? There were no hands up. And she suggested that that's because we all know why you don't want to raise your hand, why you don't want to be. That's the thing, we all know. Black Lives Matter, and I'm tired of worrying about people I care about all around the country. I have 2 mentors. The other one is in New York. He runs the Burns Memorial Church. I met him back when he was founding the Word Center in Arizona. So let's just be real here. Black lives do matter. We do have a systemic issue with police. And there is absolutely no reason to be racist or discriminate except for personal insecurity. Let's just be real here. There's nothing else I can give you. Wow, I got coffee teeth, and I'm about to have even worse. I've been drinking coffee all morning because I've been up all night. This whole autism awareness, and nobody's talking about it, has bothered me, but what bothers me even more is worrying about my nephew taking the keys to his first car. And somebody I call my sister, or my second mother, driving. Some of my friends were attending protests. I just talked to a friend of mine from Arizona that doesn't feel safe for herself, and she doesn't feel safe for her autistic boyfriend. Black lives matter. And I'm tired of worrying about the black lives that matter to me.